Welcome to this week's blog. You've probably heard the saying, the calm before the storm. I remember one time being out in the backyard, we were going to have a barbecue, and that calm before the storm happened. I mean, it got eerie quiet. Everything, it was like the air around us got still. The birds stopped singing. It was very noticeable, but off in the distance, I saw the storm clouds. And those clouds looked like they were going to be serious. The question was, how bad would the storm be, and how quickly would it reach us? Where we were at, the barbecue was fine, so would we have time to get everything done? You know, it's that calm before the storm. It's really a term that sailors came up with, and scientifically, it really does happen. There's a way of explaining it. I'm not even going to try to explain the scientific side of it, but there really is a calm before a storm comes, and I think that's a wonderful teaching lesson. You know, I think our country right now is in that calm before the storm. Right now, everything's kind of quiet. Things kind of seem to quiet down. But if we're in this calmness, don't be fooled. There is a storm coming. The calm period, the calm time before the storm is a time to get prepared and to be ready. You know, if you look at what's happening on in the world, gas prices, they've seemed to stabilize. They're not going up 10 and 12 cents overnight like they were, but they're not dropping either. They're just stable right now. What's going on in Syria? The United Nations is working with Syria, and we're not hearing about the violence that's going on every day. There's still violence, but there's this hope of peace. There's talk of peace. There's some light there. You know, right now it's just kind of still and calm. And the same thing in Iran. We're not hearing so much about the nuclear problems and Israel attacking Iran. Behind the scenes, I'm sure there's still a lot of discussion going on, but out in the open is a calmness, is a stillness. You know, now I don't know if we can really believe anything the Iranians say, but they say they're open to talks about the nuclear situation. And then in Greece, you know, March 20th, Greece was due to come up with a 14.5 billion euro payment. Well, they didn't make it. They were either told to make that a default. Well, they made 7 or 7.5 billion euro payment there, and they didn't default, but they still didn't make the payment. So we don't hear anything about that. It's quiet down. There's a calmness there. Our stock market, you know, it hit 13 and it kind of stays there. The last few weeks, it's taken some big jumps up and down, but basically it still stays in the same ballpark. There's a calmness, a stillness there. And the same thing for our housing market. I was reading a report this week where they said the housing market actually went up 0.5%. Now it's way down from before, but at least 0.5%. So with all these things being said, it's kind of like there's a stillness and a calmness in what's happening in our world. But please do not be fooled by this, because behind the scenes, it is still as rough as ever. Behind the scenes, the banks are getting together. They've got their paperwork in place now. We are looking at a whole new round of foreclosures, a brand new round of foreclosures, and it's going to be hard on people. We're looking at the debt, both nations and personal debt is on the rise. Middle East, there's still great tension in the Middle East, even though it's calm. So the debt with Greece and Spain and Portugal is still there. The debt with America is still there. The debt with individuals has increased. So please, just because we're in the calm before the storm, don't get fooled by it. Don't go back and think everything is okay. We've gotten through this, because we haven't. What we really need to do to prepare is to really seek the Lord and to repent. We need to be on our face repenting. If you look back historically, if you look back in the Bible at Jerusalem, at Judah, when they fell, they were very proud and arrogant and thought nothing would happen to them. They refused to obey the Lord, and they refused to repent. Our first step, the first thing we need to do, is to begin praying and repenting and getting prepared. Don't be fooled by the calm before the storm. Those clouds are out there. They're very dark, and they're very rough, and they're very real. The only question is, how hard will the storm come, and when will it come? God bless you.